can someone give me an audio cue letting me know that you can see my screen?
We can see it.
Okay, awesome.
See it.
Thanks for bearing with me. And I think my camera's here, so I'm going to do my best. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. So my name's TD, Thomas Dixon. Again, this is what I look like. This is my family. That's Kayla, who I was named as at the beginning of the session, and my two little kiddos. We live in Santa Cruz, and I'm excited to be with you all today. I am going to run through a whole bunch of stuff relating to what's new from Google for Education. There are a lot of updates, so I'll jump right in. So these are kind of like fresh off the press announcements that we announced last month, some of which you might have heard of, some of which not. So those of you who are well versed in accessibility features via Chrome and using Chromebooks, and students using Chromebooks, teachers using Chromebooks, we just launched in partnership with an organization called ACV Rep, a certificate where you can get certified via an 8-module training program in the most accessible ways to use Chromebooks. So it goes over things like using Chromebox, using screen reader, using high contrast mode, etc., things like that. So you're able to kind of expand your ability to support students who are maybe in need of some of these features. So it's a really nice 8-session course that you're able to take, get accredited, get a certification, and then hopefully help your students with some of these accessibility features down the road. So check that out. Again, I'm going to share the deck. Sorry, I don't have the link. I had to switch computers. Maybe I'll do that at the very end while I'm taking questions. Okay, so I'm assuming we have a couple Google Classroom users here from previous years. I know this has been a big feature request. So we just announced this. This is coming to our Education Plus districts. So you're able to automatically set up classes and keep those rosters in sync via our Clever partnership. So if you are using a student information system that has a Clever integration, you will be able to push out all of your rosters via that Clever integration to populate your Google Classroom. So if you're an Education Plus district, you'll be able to you'll actually be able to set up all of your classes using your SIS, pushing them to Google Classroom with the click of a button. So your administrators will be able to do that for you. Really exciting, hopefully saves people a ton of time and energy. This is actually going live. I think we're announcing that it's going live at the end of the week. So really exciting. No, this was and sorry, I can't see the chat. It kills me that I can't see the chat right now. Let me actually try this again one more time. I really wish I could see you guys. You can see participants. Show me the chat. Oh, there we go. I can see the chat at least. Okay, woohoo. At least I can see the chat. I can't see your beautiful faces, but I can see the chat. Okay. So this is a really exciting feature. It feels like such like a 2005 feature, but hey, it's here. Or it's coming, the ability to schedule assignments across multiple classes. So again, gone will be the days where you have to take the assignment and post it or share it with your students for each single class. You'll actually be able to say, I want periods 2 through 5 to get this. Finally, so schedule across the board, hopefully saving you time. Click more in the Meet Control Show Video panel. Oh, nice. Thanks for the tip. Or, oh, I don't have that. Bummer. Wish I did. Hooray. Classroom add-ons. So this is a Education Plus. Oh, sorry. Rollout time frame for that is later this year. So I would guess probably fall. These fun product managers don't love to commit to a specific release date, but I would anticipate this fall. Classroom add-ons are also coming later this year, most likely fall or winter. Essentially what this does is, and this is again for Education Plus and teaching and learning districts, essentially what this allows students and teachers to do is access these specific applications within Google Classroom without having to open up the other app or another web page. So, for example, if I wanted to use CK12, I would be able to, within Google Classroom, assign CK12. It'll be a little drop down, pick the specific activity or unit that I wanted to assign, click which classes I wanted to assign it to, and then it automatically would go to your students. And then when your students accessed it, they would be able to open up that specific assignment within the Classroom UI, not having to go to the CK12 site or the CK12 app, complete their assignment, and then turn it in all within Google Classroom. So we have a couple of partners right now. We're expanding this quite a bit to more partners. We're really excited about this, just to like simplify things for both teachers and students. Also, all of these work with Google's single sign-on. So if you're signed into Classroom, you'll be able to access all these great applications as well, directly from Google Classroom. Cool. Oh, I think this is actually a quick demo of what it looks like. So you can see going to the classwork page to create your assignment. European crossword, gonna go to the add-ons. You can see you can just add book widget right then and there. Pick your unit, find your activity, assign it. And now they'll show the student perspective. It shows up, able to access directly within Google Classroom without having to go to the book widget app, complete the assignment. Nailed it. It's got to be German. And then turn it in. Boom, done. Awesome. So the teacher will be able to see, turn it in, access and grade directly from Google Classroom. So a fully integrated experience, which we're really excited about. Okay. Also coming soon, later this year, measuring student engagement activity. So this is pretty neat. Within Google Classroom, this will be available to everyone. Essentially what this is it's reports on activity that your students have been up to within Google Classroom. So, so for instance, when did, you can see like someone completed an assignment, someone accessed or made a comment on the stream, somebody accessed a specific assignment that you had posted. So essentially what you're able to do is get an overview of the activity that's happening in each class, see what engagement looks like, and you'll be able to filter and sort by specific students. So if you want to see how Kristen's engaged with the content that you've assigned in your class, when you're speaking with a parent or guardian, pull that up and you'll be able to see all of the activity that Kristen's had over the past semester. So this is expected later this year. Offline mode for Android apps using Classroom. So this is, we've heard loud and clear that our tools need to work better offline, specifically as students are, on the go with remote learning, turning in things after school after their extracurriculars. So now you can access, just like you can with almost all the workspace apps, you can access Classroom offline, be able to turn things in offline, all without an internet connection. And once you hit internet or LTE or 5G, it will automatically upload. Just like how Google Docs sync after you've used them on your device, it stores locally, and then once you hit the cloud, boom, uploads right away. Google Meet upgrades. So in Google Classroom, I've been working actually, I'm the Google Meet liaison for education. So I've been working really closely with the Meet team on this. This is an updated version of the Google Classroom integration with Google Meet. So essentially, this updated version allows co-teachers to be added automatically as co-moderators of the Google Meet. So long are the days where the main teacher is automatically the organizer, or the first person to get in is the organizer, and it's who's the moderator, who can run the breakout rooms, or who can manage the chat, etc. you'll actually be able to automatically have your co-teachers be those co-moderators, or you'll be able to upgrade people to moderators as well. Also, it automatically adds the students to the meeting and turns quick access off, meaning all those students are the only ones that can join that meeting without knocking. So we're really excited about that. It should make it a much simpler experience for everyone involved, and also, most importantly, a safer experience for everyone. This is actually expected to roll out probably in the next month. We're actually in dogfooding it right now, or trialing it right now. For those of you using Google Meet, you probably saw a refreshed user experience. So we have heard feedback loud and clear, specifically from educators, that presenting in Google Meet was a challenge. There used to be half of a screen that said "you are presenting," which is not very helpful for anyone who's presenting to know that they're actually sharing their screen. Oh, I heard someone go off mute. Is there a question? Did I miss something? Okay, I'll keep going. I'm trying. It's really hard not to see you guys. I'm sorry. But hopefully this is helpful. So now when you're presenting in the new user interface, you can either make what the screen you're sharing a little tile, or it will just take up about half your screen. You'll be able to actually see the apps that you're presenting, or the screen that you're presenting. And then also you're able to see up to 49 people while you're presenting, or sorry, 36 people that you're presenting to. So you could see your whole class as you're sharing your screen, unlike this experience where I can't see any of you, unfortunately. So this is really cool. Also, we've just updated some of the toggles at the bottom. We've moved the hang up link all the way to the right instead of next to the mute button, because people are hanging up by mistake. And it's also been, the Meet experience has been refreshed specifically for Chromebooks, so that it's much more efficient using broadband, or using your internet, as well as the actual device, the CPU. Chelsea, I do have a presentation link. I'm just going to throw it in at the last minute because it's on my other computer and I have to go get it. What about Google? Oh yeah, I do have. Yes. So Jesus, I do have updates around that. Students logging in early to a meet and not having host controls and needing to start a new meeting to regain host controls. So that will be prevented by the Google Classroom integration. So you'll be able to automatically, your teacher and your co-teachers will be the only moderators. So essentially, it'll create a waiting room for all your students, so they won't be able to join that meeting until one of the moderators joins and starts the meeting. So hopefully that'll prevent those kinds of like students joining first, those kinds of issues. Yes, Jen's here. Awesome. That would be great if you can share that public link. That way folks can follow along. Thank you. Awesome. Multiple moderators. So this is really exciting. This will apply, of course, to the Google Classroom integration that I just spoke about, but also to all other meetings. So if you're creating a meet from meet.google.com, or you are creating it from a calendar instance, you'll be able to add co-moderators within the meeting. So let's say, I have a recurring calendar invite with my class, and we have a guest speaker coming up. I'd be able to add them to the calendar invite, and within the meeting, promote them to a moderator, so we both have the moderator controls. This will eventually be able to be pre-assigned via Google Calendar, but at the first rollout, you'll have to do it in meeting. So again, co-moderation available to everyone, coming very soon. Hand raising improvements. So this is one I'm really excited about. We heard feedback that when students raised their hand, it got a little confusing because hands after the students talked, it would actually just stay up and the teacher would be confused as to who raised their hand, and then also what order did the students raise their hands in. So this is actually has just launched. So now it'll show up the order in which folks raise their hand, and then automatically after they've spoken, it'll automatically lower their hand. So we're really excited about this one. Hopefully it helps teachers. You're trying to be equitable in the classroom, seeing who raised their hand at what point in time, and they won't have to automatically remember to lower their hand after they've spoken. Multi-pinning, this is coming by the end of the year. Probably, I would actually expect this to land before the end of September. You're able to pin, the participants will be able to pin multiple tiles that they want to focus on. So if you have a student that needs an ASL interpreter or a translator, for instance, they'll be able to pin multiple screens to focus on during the meeting to help them focus on the right pins. So yeah, this is expected to roll out very soon. You'll be able to toggle, I think it's up to 10 they're able to pin, but could be useful, especially when when you've got an instance where you want to pin multiple people and see what they're saying and communicate with them. Yes, students will be able to pin. So the participants will be able to say, I want to pin on these 3 speakers at one point in time. Closed captions in additional languages. So now when the speaker, so this is kind of confusing because there's also translated captions, but now when your speaker is speaking in a different language, let's say I'm speaking Spanish, and you would be able as a participant to change the closed captions to that language. So it'll be, it would actually not translate, but it would accurately show the language that I'm speaking and the words that I'm saying in that language. So it's English, French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish right now, with more languages to come. And I will be talking about translated captions just in a minute. Well, there we go. So what a setup. So live translated captions is something that's really, really cool. It does not do it interchangeably. The participant has to go into the closed caption and say which language they'd like it to translate to. So live translated captions, however, is really cool. This is only available to teaching and learning upgrades and the Education Plus districts. This uses our machine learning to automatically detect and translate what that main speaker, or what any speaker for that matter, is saying, and translate that live. I've seen this firsthand. It is pretty mind-blowing. As you can see in the GIF, it identifies that this speaker is speaking a different language, or you want to translate in a different language. You can turn on that setting and automatically it will translate to that language. It's going to be the same 5 languages that the closed captions are first rolling out in. But we know this is a really exciting feature, especially as we get back into parent-guardian communication. Students who don't speak English as a first language could be a really powerful tool. This is rolling out. This is expected to roll out later this fall or early winter. Public live streaming. So this is a big one. Ever since we launched Google Meet, people have been asking, can you live stream? Because we want to use it for board meetings. We want to use it for plays, events, etc. So the answer is yes, you will be. We're going to be launching a beta by the end of this year. Anyone will be able to attend your live stream. We think this is really exciting, specifically for districts who want to show, again, like public events. You'll be able to stream through YouTube as well. So you post a YouTube link, folks will be able to access that live stream. We're really excited about this. We think, we expect it, if the beta goes well, to be able to roll out early 2022. Great question, Chelsea. Does that mean we'll be able to have captions turned on when you're presenting? There aren't forced captions available yet. As the presenter, your students would have to turn those on for themselves. So I know that's a feature request, especially for the younger kiddos, to be able to force captions, but not yet. Yep. I think I might have a read aloud Google slide update. Let's see if we get to it. Okay, closed captions and live streams. Again, closed captions will be an option when you are live streaming via Google Meet. Safety controls on mobile devices. So if you are hosting a meeting specifically from an iPad or a mobile device, you now have access to all those safety features like mute all, like quick access, like present lock, like chat lock, all those things that make your meeting safer. What about chat features? Can speech to text be integrated into the chat for accessibility? Jesus, great question. We don't have any new chat features with Google Meet. Speech to text, I'm not sure. And any improvements on sound lag. The new user experience in Google Meet is supposed to improve the sharing your tab experience. So hopefully that answers your question. Another safety feature that we're going to be launching very soon is video lock. So let's say you have a student who you're running a meeting and something inappropriate happens on a screen, and you want to be able to shut off all the video feeds. We're adding the ability for teachers to do that. So you can toggle that off, turn off all your participant screens until you feel comfortable turning it back on. Or if you just want to have like heads down time and you want people to be able to study for a couple minutes or work on something off screen, you can turn off folks' cameras and then give them a warning and then turn it back on. Breakout room safety improvements. So if you have the teaching and learning upgrade or you have Education Plus, you have access to breakout rooms in Google Meet, which is probably one of our great features, our best features. So we have heard feedback that the safety settings should match that in the main room. So now when you push your students into breakout rooms, the safety settings that are applied in the main room will automatically apply to the breakout rooms. So you don't have to worry about going in and toggling toggling chat lock on again or present lock on again. Automatically, those will be set. So hopefully saving you time and anxiety as well. And same thing, again, the great feedback from teachers. When those breakout rooms were ending, there was a countdown of a minute, and then it would pop up and say, please return to the main room. That we heard loud and clear from teachers that kids were hanging back and ignoring that message and not coming back into the main room and still hanging out and chatting. So now, after that 1 minute warning, they will automatically be forced back into that meeting room. So no more lagging participants in those breakout rooms lingering. No, Heidi, that's a great question. The chat will not be visible after you go into another breakout room. However, this is a feature request we're aware of. I will hint that there's a really big project happening with overhauling chat within Google Meet that may or may not have to do with Google Chat. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So that would be cool. Just the hypothetical, if you were to be in a Google Meet and using the chat, and then you could leave that Google Meet and hop into Google Chat and see everything that was said in that meeting and continue the conversation there. That would be cool as a hypothetical. Just saying. Okay. New admin controls. So these are specifically for administrators, but we are launching a ton of new admin controls in the admin console, specifically for Google Meet, but also all of our different workspace apps. So now your admin, I know one kind of difficult point using Google Meet was allowing anonymous users. So folks outside of your domain, let's say a mom or a dad, a guardian outside of the district doesn't have a Gmail account. They couldn't have accessed Google Meet without being invited. So now your admin will actually be able to turn on anonymous users so that that teacher will be able to say, hey parents, here's the link, go to the link, type in your name, and then you can have that conversation using Google Meet instead of having to go through a Google account. That's just one very specific example. Also, the ability to turn quick access on or off as a default for all of your meetings within the domain. I kind of beat myself to that. Control quick access and chat lock at the OU level and in the admin console. So being able to turn those on or off by default for all meetings created, or if you want to say, I want quick access off for all meetings created by teachers, you would be able to do that directly from the admin console. This is one we've heard about specifically from administrators. So there have been rogue meetings that have been caught, meaning old meetings that were generally created in Google Calendar before the time of quick access and safety settings, where administrators wanted to find those and end those directly from the admin console. Actually, I heard a hilarious story earlier this morning about a district who found 2 kids who've been playing Dungeons and Dragons weekly using the same meeting link. Incredible. And so the investigation tool allows the admins to find this, find these meetings that are happening, and then specifically end any meeting within their domain directly from the admin console, meaning it boots all users out of that meeting and it turns quick access off so they can't access that meeting link again. That is for Education Standard and Education Plus districts. Some really cool stuff coming to workspace users in general. So you'll see these populated in your when you're using Google Docs or slides. This is called Smart Canvas, and as you can see, essentially what it is it's the ability to add things like tasks, like adding specific contacts or even documents themselves into meetings. So you can see that person's adding a specific document, this person's making a task list, and you can actually do like live voting in documents. So essentially it's like kind of bringing the best of all the workspace apps into each workspace app. So you're able to link to other files, again, add to specific people that you work with, and then do interactive activities like voting and checklists. We're really excited about this because hopefully it makes things like planning your lessons a little easier or coordinating like a curriculum plan a little easier for teachers. Smart chips are just literally, it's like when you hit an @ things will pop up in Google. So now the @ thing applies to both other users in your domain and actual documents in your domain that you're able to add as little links within the document themselves. So instead of going to the document, hitting a copy and on the link, and then having to Control K or paste into a document, you'll just be able to add them right then and there, as well as not having to comment people in, but actually add people into a doc. I think I went over interactive checklists. Really helpful for group projects, or also this could be great for like student work. Did you complete this, this, and this, and this? Table templates. Interactive table templates with voting. Writing tips. So this is an Education Plus. So if there's any inappropriate language or even stylistic suggestions, admins can turn this off or on in their domain. So it could be helpful for students who are writing. So for social science teachers, for English teachers, this may be helpful. So there are things like like inclusion suggestions based on certain words. So you see the chairman thing being flagged. You also see things like using the word master, for example, or blacklist, things like that will automatically suggest, as well as any foul language that's used. So the admin can decide to turn this on or off. And then assisted analysis. So when you're using sheets, it'll actually make suggestions on both formulas, but also will actually suggest analysis that could be done using sheets. I've actually found this pretty helpful if like I'm pulling data for my team and I haven't thought of a certain way to pull the data or a certain function to use. These suggestions actually help me find greater insights to the data I'm engaging with. Could be helpful for things like grading, for attendance reporting, et cetera. This one I love, this integration with Google Meet. So this is actually live right now. So if you are in a Google Doc, Google Slide, any of the workspace apps, there's a little button at the top, that little blue indicator with the present icon. All you have to do when you're in a Google Meet is hit that button, and it will present that specific application to the meeting. So you don't have to go and hit present in the meeting and then pick which tab you want to do. You can go directly to that tab, present, and then get to work, wasting no time as you present your screen, and just roll ahead. Charlotte, glad they're making you smile. They make me smile too, especially when they make you guys happy. Yeah, so the Smart Canvas thing, here's kind of what it looks like. Again, like the populated templates I find really helpful when you're working on, you know, a curriculum plan, a unit plan, and eventually you'll be able to create your own templates. So kind of like templates in Gmail, you will have these templates that you'll be able to load, boom, and kind of a skeleton to work off of, saving you time and having to format things. I also love voting, the voting piece, because I do that actually a lot with like feature requests, for example, coming in from districts. Forms. Okay, so there's a new setting tabs in a tab in Forms with key settings with the option to make a form a quiz. We've just kind of like simplified the settings a little bit. It was a little bit of a drop down, and it was just a little clunky, honestly. So we've updated the settings in Forms to make it a little more user friendly and education specific. And there's also very soon, there's going to be more fonts coming to Forms. It's about time. So there'll be up to 20 new fonts in Google Forms that you'll be able to use. This is coming very soon. It's actually in beta right now, but auto saving in Forms. So I always hate when I've spent a lot of time doing a long Google form and I exit out of it by mistake as I'm toggling tabs, and I lose all that great data. So very soon it'll have an autosave feature, kind of like your draft feature, where you'll be able to, if I were to exit out of that, I could pull it right back up and it will save for 30 days. Ofsi, that is the hope, that we're trying to simplify and make Meet easy to use and fun and engaging to use. We're trying. Also, like the cool thing about Google, so I work a lot with the Google Meet team. The coolest thing about the Google Meet team is they honestly came to us and they were like, what do educators need? So like we were able to build stuff really fast that you guys were asking for, frankly. So like keep the features requests coming. Like keep them coming. Really helps us. Enhanced protections in Drive. So there's actually, we're going to be launching over the summer something called a Drive resource key. And essentially what this is a layer of encryption on top of Drive file sharing to prevent things like outside users, outside threats. So this access key, your admins will be able to turn this on or off, but we're going to suggest that they turn it on because it'll give you an extra layer of encryption on top of your normal Drive file sharing. SCORMs. What are SCORMs? Yes, I believe forms, you are, if you set up the form that way, you are able to add an image as your response. Jamie, tell me more about SCORMs. Drive labels. So this is available to Education Standard and Education Plus. you're able to essentially classify different types of drive files based on the contents of sensitivity levels. This could be really helpful for something like your special education files and IEPs and things like that. So you're able to set specific rules for different kinds of files automatically if you're at the admin level. And drive trust rules also coming to Education Standard and Education Plus. One of the big pain points we've heard from admins is that sometimes there are certain districts that want to set up the ability for only students to be able to share with teachers, but teachers can share with anyone, for example. So this drive trust rules allow you to set up really granular controls over which users can share with who and who can be shared with whom. So for example, in this instance, this district wants to prevent student-to-student sharing, but they want to be able to set up student-to-teacher sharing and teachers to be able to share with anyone. And you're able to have that level of granular controls with drive trust rules, which is really neat. Chrome Insight reports, again, mostly for administrators. This shows you how many devices have been enrolled when and when they're up for auto update expiration, which is kind of end of life for Chromebooks. So admins can get a big snapshot of what their deployments look like across their whole domain and when they're up for refresh. I'm excited about this one. I've been asking for this one for a while. So PIN logins for EDU users. So instead of a lengthy password, your students will now have the ability to have a PIN and instead use numbers as their password. Again, excited about this one, especially for your little guys. I think this could be really helpful for those folks to just get easy access to their Chromebooks without having to remember some crazy password and type that in. Update to the screen magnifier. So full screen magnifier, you're able to keep the mouse centered on the screen and then also pan as you're moving the mouse. So for your students that use this, or even some of the teachers that use this, a helpful update as you're able to pan and not just focus on one piece of the screen, but able to move your mouse and see different pieces of the screen. Great question, Afsi. So Education Plus, there's kind of three, well, actually there's four, but there's a couple different versions of Google for Education now. Fundamentals is kind of like good old G Suite for Education, free to everybody. We're still working on features, releasing features, as you can see, for everyone. Education Plus is the paid version that has all kind of the bells and whistles. So it has a lot of the additional admin features, has some extra Google Meet features like breakout rooms, polls, all that stuff. And then also has some additional classroom features like the roster sync, like originality reports. We also launched the ability for you to do like student-to-student comparisons with originality reports, things like that. So fundamentals is kind of like good old G Suite for Education. And then Education Plus is the most premium version that has all the bells and whistles. And then district can also, if they don't want to buy Education Plus, you can buy the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, which has kind of the teaching related features like the Meet stuff, the classroom stuff, or they can buy Standard, which is just the security aspects of it. Yes, great question, Heidi. So the enterprise version is the same as Education Plus. We did a whole rebrand because, Google always likes to make things more complicated than they need to be. Can teachers who are not tied to a district get access to Education Plus? Probably, I guess you could if you have a domain. You could buy it, but usually it's bought through districts. Okay, so I'm going to check my time. We've got 15 minutes. Let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to cover. No, I think I covered most of these actually. I was going to see, let me see if I can see you guys again. Maybe if I stop sharing my screen, I can see you guys. Okay. First of all, thank you guys for listening to me. I know that was a lot of me talking. Let me see if I can see your faces. Where are your faces? Where are you? There you are. Here we go. And I wanted to take the time both to, like, so a little bit about my role is, yes, I get to go out and talk about all the new Google stuff and share these new features, but a big part of it is also hearing what's working for you all and what could be improved, what features you'd like to see, all that good stuff. So I'd love to open it up for any questions you guys have, any feedback you have. One cool thing is I get to sit with the product team every week and give them feedback, especially when it comes to Google Meet. So I'm all ears, and I'll be happy to look at the chat and do my best to answer your questions. I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen or not. I'm not. Okay, good. All right, I will. Okay, here we go. Do you know if the banners for Google Classroom will become easier to customize as far as legibility and brightness? Nisa, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I do not think that is on the roadmap right now. It's a great feature request though. I'm going to copy this chat and share this with the Google Classroom team. Make folders. Have the ability to make folders and not just topics in Classroom. Yes, we actually have talked about that a little bit in with the Google Classroom team. Essentially, one thing we're thinking about, and I wonder if this would solve the issue, Travis. Let me just close the door really quick. Is instead of just topics, actually having subtopics that would kind of act as folders. So you'd kind of be able to, within topics, have folders that would have subtopics that would essentially take the role of folders. Yep, seconding the banner. See, SCORM. Oh, okay. Shareable content object reference model. Oh, I kind of like that. Okay. SCORMs can be embedded in multiple LMSs like PowerSchools. Got it. Okay. Thanks for chiming in with the deck again, Jennifer. More banner templates, old and boring. I hear you. Okay, that's good feedback. Brutal. I like it. Will there be updates to Google sites so I can make a template for students and colleagues? Tracy, that's a really good question. I am not sure, but I can find out. Hopefully we can somehow get access to your emails and share follow-up with both the deck and answers to these questions. Cindy, great question. So many updates. Where can I get training? That's a great question. So we actually have this great resource called the Teacher Center, and it just let me just pull it up really quick. I'll throw it in the chat. And what I love about this resource is that it is actually it can be either product specific or so it can be like by Classroom or Sheets, etc., or it can be by things you want to do. So it's like creating more engaging classroom experience using Google Meet and Classroom, for example. So there's really great training on there. There's also links that our trainers and innovators have videos they've done showing how they use the tools. So be sure to check that out. Is there a way to grade by subject in the Classroom gradebook? Not that I know of, unless they're in different classes, unfortunately. Obviously, I guess I don't have an update on Read Aloud in Google Slides. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I can see if I can get more information and follow up via email. Any plans to improve the accessibility of Google Sheets visually? Ability to make the highlighter darker. Joy, not that I've heard of. The only thing we have is high contrast mode, which isn't specifically a Google Sheets feature. It's more of a Chrome OS feature. But I'll pass along the feedback that you'd like to see more of a contrast within the highlight. Ooh, close assignment. I love that. I love that feedback. The ability to close an assignment like in Canva. Yeah, that would be really great. Or Canvas, probably. What would you recommend for teachers who work with paraprofessionals like teacher aides do as an intro to all the Google tools? Great question, Jesus. I would recommend getting level 1 and/or level 2 certified on our training center. Actually, you can access it through that Teacher Center link. Essentially, what it does is it takes you through kind of the 101 that you need to know for Google tools, but then the level 2 is more of a deep dive into how to kind of take your skills to the next level. I feel like those really prepared me for using these tools in the classroom. And these are updated all the time. So they're like, it's like how to use the classroom of today, the meat of today.
The Teacher Center link didn't show up in the chat. Is it something we can just search?
I think I privately messaged to somebody. Geez, sorry about that. See, I'm exposing my lack of Zoom skills here. Did that work?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know. Will the new features be part of the Google Classroom? Yes, they will be. Ricardo, these are the Google Classroom certifications, are the training certifications are updated monthly with new features. Thanks for your email, Tracy. Thanks, moderator Nancy. Sorry, I might be going over my allotted time. Closing assignments would be awesome. I agree with you. Gradebook classroom to be able to organize grades by subject. Our parents love Google's gradebook. Yeah, so that's a really great feature request. One thing I was just talking with the classroom team about actually was making sure that it was more easily accessible for parents, because I actually have like a sample class that I work with and who uses Google Classroom, and I found that the parent guardian updates weren't that helpful, honestly. Like, I could have been getting better communication sooner to be able to like help my students. So I like sat down with the classroom team and griped. And now it's like one of their priorities to figure out like how to improve parent and guardian engagement. One of the ways I'd like to see is for parents to be able to maybe access assignments that students have turned in without having to like log in as a student, for example. And then also be able to have access to that grade book to be able to see how their student is performing. And then the other thing we're talking about is using our machine learning tools to identify if a student is off track. And let's say I've gotten a series of C's and D's and they're usually an A student, if their parent could automatically be notified to say, hey, it might be time to touch base with the teacher. Your student has have gotten several lower grades than their average. Okay. Thank you so much for all your feedback and for listening to me. And sorry again for my dodgy, crazy first 5 minutes as I switched devices. I hope it sounds like these features, it sounds like we're on the right track. My biggest fear is like we launch things and they're just, teachers are just like shrugging like, man, they kind of missed the mark. Hopefully these make your lives easier. They make teaching easier and more fun, engaging, and also learning for your students more fun and engaging. And simpler, as it should be. Last note, I just want to thank you guys. Every chance I talk with teachers, I just want to thank you all. this last year has been trying for everyone on the planet, but most specifically for you all. So like you guys all deserve like a huge raise and a huge hug from the Google for Education team. You guys have done an incredible job making sure that kids haven't missed a beat through all this. You've been their constant. So I just want to end with that note to say thank you for all that you do and all that you've done. And thanks for keeping us all on track. You're really inspiring to us all. You keep us going. So with that, I will bid adieu. Thank you all. We're going to be doing a repeat of this session tomorrow. If you want to come yell at me or throw tomatoes at me then. If not, I hope to see you out there, out and about in the wide open world. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.